What's up, family? I am Lope, God of Vibration, Lord of Light, Master of Energy, King of Dimensions. Hey, check this out. When people give us their perspective, we have to be able to identify what ideology are they speaking from. Are they speaking from the mind of a European with a European ideology, or are they speaking from the mind of an African with an African ideology? Two completely different things. Now, before I get started, we need to bring to light that most of the Africans today are more colonized than us. All of this shit is coming out now that people are starting to repatriate to Africa, and we're getting more of the diasporans over there in Africa. A lot of the Africans, they're like 30 to 50 years behind as far as regaining their African mind. So we used to think of Africans like, dang, they connected to their roots, they connected to their culture. Meanwhile, a lot of them are more colonized than us in a lot of ways. A lot of them have their native tongue, but that's about it. You know what I'm saying? They into white Jesus, they into Arab Muhammad more than us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not necessarily just talking about any African just because you're from the continent of Africa. I'm talking about people who have a thorough, legit African mind. Now, here's the example I want to use, because this is a good example. When we are talking about lineage, now, when you talk about lineage, most people in our society, they will say, oh, well, lineage is passed down through the father. You know what I'm saying? You take your father's last name, you and your mother get married, everything goes through the male side. So that is a patrilineal. That's patrilineal, right? So that's the way it goes, right? Wrong. That is a European perspective. From an African perspective, everything comes through the womb. We revere the womb. Check how we got to this point. We have to understand that the European society is very male chauvinistic. It's male dominated. It's male centered. That's why they need things like the feminist movement, because everything is so male dominated. But in our original cultures, we revered the womb. Everything was balanced. There was no masculine without feminine. So if you had a masculine god, you also had a feminine counterpart god. You know what I'm saying? Just like Asar, you had a Set. It was always male and female. But you look at the European ideology, you got God, who's a man somehow. I don't know how we got to that point. And Jesus, who's a man. That's who everybody pray to. You got the Virgin Mary. That's the closest thing, and nobody really, reveres her. Even though at one point in time they did. Even though it started with Virgin Mary being revered. So the patrilineal system of bloodline and lineage is very Eurocentric. And this is something that we all accept as just a standard truth. And this is what happens once we start unlearning all of the shit that we learn. We starting to see that why would we assume that this is the way bloodline lineage should be passed down? You think about it. All a man gives a woman is his sperm, the seed. A woman grows a zygote into an entire human baby inside of her body. The baby is a part of her body. She nourishes the baby the entire 9-month cycle, 10-month cycle, whatever it is, and she develops an entire human being. So why would you think just because the male gave the sperm that he is more so that, he plays a bigger part on the bloodline of the child than the mother? And that don't make sense when you think about it. So when you look at it from an African perspective, everything comes through the womb, the mother. We are matrilineal. So let's say if you got a king, right? If a king has a child, his children cannot be the heirs to the throne, but his sister's children can. Because if his bloodline is the royal bloodline, I'm the male, it's my turn to be, you know what I'm saying, king. My son is not going to be king. Your sister's son is going to be next up to the throne because bloodline is passed down through the womb. We revered the womb. So this right here is bloodline. But this is just a good example to show you the major difference between a European ideology and an African ideology. So we have to be able to identify when people are speaking, what ideology are you speaking from? Because it's a big difference in a lot of ways, you know what I'm saying? So that's all I got, man. This is Lot, God of vibration, Lord of light, master of energy, king of dimensions.